This is the Vantop Discovery H609. This is a dashcam which also doubles as a mirror, and there's the H610 currently available on Amazon, but this is the H609, and we're going to do an installation of this today. Just take the top off there and you can see it's mirror shaped. It goes onto your rear view mirror in the center of the car, and hopefully it's going to come with all the kit and caboodle that we're going to need to install this into the car. Now you may notice a lot of these, if you ever go in a taxi, you'll see these things attached to the mirrors of taxis or Ubers, and you can see there's a few bits and bobs that we need to attach here. Appears to be a camera there, and then we've got the cigarette lighter power, or the USB power as it's called in some cars. A lot of cabling. Got a audio sort of connection here, which is the VGA video input, and then here are the instructions. So I'm going to give those a quick read, and then we're going to go and have a look in the car and start installing it. Right, here we are in the car, and obviously the first thing to note is the strange use of English. This is obviously just a plastic cover that you peel off. Please remove it off before use. I don't think we need the word off, but anyway, just peel it off or remove it before use. There is a camera at the back, which also has a little plastic covering on there. You peel that off too. And so that is the front mounted camera. So that obviously goes on the back of your mirror, pointing towards the traffic, pointing towards what you're heading towards. And then there's another camera in the box, which is for your rear view. So this not only records just what you're seeing ahead of you, but also what's happening behind of you. So if anybody slams into your backside, maybe does it on purpose or wasn't paying attention or was maybe on the phone, then you can record that and you can put that through the insurance. We've got a standard sort of USB connection, a mini USB. We've got the AV in, which is that cabling we saw earlier, and we've got the micro SD card. We've also got a GPS port, which appears to be blanked off, I think, with this pass here. Yes, it is. So that will come if you've got the GPS connection. And then these parts here obviously hang onto your mirror. So there are some rubber pieces here in the box. This is the rear camera here. There's lots and lots of cabling, and this bit here is what connects your new mirror over the top of your existing mirror. So, as I say, I've seen a lot of taxi drivers with this particular device, or the H610 at least. The instructions seem to be pretty good and are written in slightly better English than you saw a moment ago. You can see here the car charger, and it's all in feet and inches for some reason. There's an 11.5 foot car charging. The screws, user manual, cleaning cloth, a DC pads, and obviously what I've just shown you there, the microphone and power button. So obviously it records in in-car audio as well. And this is a front camera, and that can extend out. So if you've got anything in the way, this can pull out like that, so that you can get around anything that might be in the way on your dashboard, which is pretty cool. And so we're going to try installing this now, and it looks fairly simple, so I'm going to have a go. Let's try step one, which is to literally pre-install test. So a test must be done before installation, and that is basically to charge the micro SD card. So let's try format the micro SD card before use. So I need to get a micro SD card. There isn't one in the box. You'll need to supply one of those yourself. It'll be interesting, actually. As you can see, I've taken the protective film off there now. It'd be interesting, obviously, on normal mirrors like this one, you've got this this button here which helps to reduce the lights from the cars behind you, sort of startling you. So it'd be interesting to see if that's sort of built into this mirror or not. I've plugged in the power, and I've got a 16 gigabyte micro SD card here. So that's one I've supplied myself, so I'm just going to pop that in the top. What I'm going to do now is just put the ignition on, because this is the first time I've used it, and we need to format that card like the instructions said. So we've got Vantop. The car's moaning at me because the door's open. So I'll just shut that. Okay, so not formatted. Confirm. Now I've never used this before, so I don't even know. Let's just turn the radio off as well. Good grief, we're in the middle of lockdown at the minute, and it's been so long since I've driven my car. I've forgotten how to operate the radio. Right, so let's see if it's touchscreen. Okay. Yeah, so it is touchscreen. We've got a strange tone there. So we've got the date and the time, which is wrong at the moment. So we'll see if we can adjust that. So settings. So this is all pretty straightforward. I like touch sensitive screens like this. It's hard for me to capture some of this because of the reflections. But okay, so resolution. Obviously, depending on the size of your micro SD card, you might want to adjust this. So if you've only gone for an 8GB micro SD card, you might want to lower the resolution slightly. We've got a guard button, which is on or off. We'll find out about that. We've got the interval, which is the loop. That's on or off. Oh no, sorry, the cycle is how often it loops around. So we've got loads of settings on here. I'll have to find out exactly what they do, but I just want to try and set the time and the date at the moment. Well, HDR, we want that on. I don't know why that's off as default. And we've got a license. And sound, gravity. What else have we got? A watermark, we want that off. Well, that's turned on as default. We've got a motion detector as well. Where is the time and date? You would think that would be the first thing people would want to change. Let's press settings again. No. There doesn't appear to be a time and date setting. Home. Settings. Right, there's more settings in here. Screen protection, frequency. Now here in the UK we're on 50 Hz. Elsewhere in the world you're on 60. Got an auto shutdown and time and date. Here we go. This key sound is annoying, but you can turn it off if you want. Time and date, so I'm going to set the time and date here. You sort of just kind of glide up. It is May at the minute. But yeah, at least we can set the time and date there. And there is more settings here. You have to go into home and then settings and there. And you can see the files and you can set your recording. Stream media, that's interesting. I presume you can stream from the back. But anyway, I need to obviously read the instructions a little bit more. Let's get this installed. And seems fairly easy to sort of touch and use it at the moment. So that's good. So let's get it rigged up and see what happens next. Okay, now this is always tricky to show you on videos like this where there's lots of light and lots of dark, but I've fitted it onto the windscreen there, and hopefully you can see, if I bring the darkness level up a bit, you can see how it basically holds onto your existing mirror, and then this camera pops out at the side because obviously it's going to be blocked by your current mirror, and then it gets to see that. Now I've already got a camera in place, as you can see here. This seems to be firing off at the sides. It seems to be filming to my left. I don't seem to be able to adjust that a great deal. Oh yes, I can. So basically the lens on the end here, you can actually adjust that around slightly, and you can point it more forwards. Obviously I need to remove my existing camera to let this see the road, but you can actually see it in place there. So we'll fire it up and then we'll see what happens next. We now have it rigged up and we can see what the camera can see, and indeed actually now I've removed the other camera, it does show the front of the car very well, and that lens does indeed move up and down and to the right slightly, so you can actually modify it so that it actually can see a little bit more of your surroundings, which is good. So obviously at the minute it's just showing me my forward facing video and not what's behind me. So let's just see what we can do to correct that, and basically it's going to involve putting the other part of this camera setup in, which is the rear camera here. So that's going to have to be rigged in. Right, now just to show you, this is the reversing camera. Now it does have a red wire on it, and it says in the instructions here to connect it to your reverse light. So basically, when your reversing light comes on, it activates the camera so that you can see behind you, and you can basically use this as your reversing camera, which is great, so you don't bump into stuff. This, you will need to decide where to mount this yourself. You may want to screw it into your bodywork, perhaps underneath your number plate or above your number plate, registration plate, whatever you want to call it in your country. You may want to put it on your rear parcel shelf so that you don't drill into the car too much. But it is self-powered. It's just that this red light is basically what triggers it and makes it come on. You can see here the footage I'm getting from the reversing light at the moment. So this is the way that you see behind you. So this is going to be showing all the time. I obviously want to get it up the right way so I can see what's behind me using this camera instead of the glass, which is the normal way. So that basically needs to be fitted in. Alright, so here we are midway through the install now. I'll put the camera in the rear parcel shelf, and you can see I need to probably align it a little bit better, but I can now see what's behind me. So it's now acting as a rear view mirror, as it should. But we can also, let me just go in here, you can see people wandering around. If you haven't adjusted it properly, you can actually move the part of the footage that it's capturing up and down, which is pretty good. So if it's pointing a bit high or a bit low and you can't adjust it anymore, you can actually change that. You can take photos here very easily. There you go, that's taking a photo. And you can increase or decrease the brightness of the footage that it's capturing as well. So if it's a bit glaring, and then you can just press this and you can see the front and the back of your car at the same time. So that's pretty good. I don't know whether you'd want that. I have seen taxi drivers have it set this way so you can see the front and the back of the car all the time. Whether you would want that, I don't know. It's up to you. I mean, I'm kind of old school. I like to see a bit more interested in what's coming up behind me. But you keep pressing this, you cycle through the front, the back, a split screen, and then around again. And then we can go into the settings and we can check all that stuff. So I'm going to do a separate video on basically all the settings and all the options that are available in this, but that's basically how easy it is to install. The only part that you may have a bit of difficulty with is actually getting that rear view camera to connect to your reversing light. You will need to have to take that reverse light assembly out possibly, and then just somehow connect it to your reverse light. So it depends on how new your car is and how many bits of plugs and cabling you'll need to faff around with to get that done. But as you can see, it's very easy to install if you don't want the reversing camera to come on, because obviously if you have it on front, like I don't know why you would want that, but if you have it set to front all the time, that red cable on the rear view camera will automatically switch it to the rear camera so that you can reverse without hitting anything. So yeah, that's the Vantop 609 H609. Very easy to install, I must admit. Looks pretty good. It's very high quality glass, and the camera on there, the screen on there is really good. I'm going to carry on reading the instructions, and I will basically do a separate video to show you some of the options and some of the things it can do. Go through what a few of these options are on the camera here. So go onto this main screen. First of all, that beeping noise, I can remove it. Let's just click on settings here, and we can click on key sound and turn that off, and it sounds a lot better to me anyway. But if we go to the main screen, which is for that, you can switch here as well. If we just leave it to go back to its main screen, we've got a button on the bottom here as well, by the way. We can turn that off, and we just get a bit hard to see for you guys, but we just get a normal mirror. Turn it on and we get that again. So if you just want it to act like a normal mirror, then you can turn it off and you get a normal mirror. So if you haven't got the rear camera fitted, that's fine. That's fine. You can just maybe just rely off the front camera. A bit wasteful because it is a good bit of kit with that reverse camera. But let's go. So we've got files. We can go to the files that we've captured so far. But I'm going to go back to the home screen, hopefully, if I can find out how to do it. Home. Record. Right, so there we go. So this is the record screen. Now, we've got some settings here. Now, if I go into settings, we've got resolution, which obviously is 1080p, 720p, or 480p. We've got this dual button. Dual is set to on as default, and set it off means that the view from the rear camera can be viewed, but will not be recorded or saved. So basically that dual means it records the front and the rear image of the video footage. This it goes off quite quick, doesn't it? Sorry about this. The cycle is the recording time of each video. So at the minute it chunks it up into 1 minute videos. You can set that to 3-minute videos or 5-minute videos. The files are going to overwrite if there's no space left on the SD card anyway. Now this another one which is similar, but this is interval, and this is 1, 2 or 3 seconds, and this is 30 frames per second. So if it's set, so basically this is how many frames per second it's set to. So I just set that to off, to be honest. You got HDR, which I would turn on. It really does help with the recording footage on here. High dynamic range, it gets more details, especially when you've got lots of daylight. Say it's a sunny day and you've got loads of shadows, it will capture the light from the shadows better. We've got an exposure as well. We can adjust that up or down. Again, probably leave that. We've got a motion. This when it's powered on and it's not recording, the dash camera is going to automatically start recording a video if motion is detected. So that's good if you're parked up, maybe. You got the watermark, which I saw before. Let's obviously put some watermark for this Vantop camera. We've got sound, we've got guard. Now guard, I'm going to guard again. This guard mode here, on or off. On, again, is when it's parked, it will automatically start recording for around 30 seconds if you're in a collision. So if it detects, when you basically parked up and somebody runs into you, this will record it. So guard setting, I would maybe turn that on, leave that on. And then you've got license, which basically displays your license plate or your registration on the recording. So if you've got a load of these cameras, perhaps you've got a fleet of vans or something, and you have this Vantop camera set then in each van, then you can put the registration of the vehicle in question, so you know who exactly it is. You've got photo settings as well, which you can go into here, and you can click on there, and you get a similar sort of load of setup. So obviously you've got resolution, you can go all the way up to 12 megapixel. You can do continuous photographs if you want. You can adjust the quality of the capture, anti-shake, on or off. So it's not just about recording all the time. You can actually have the photographs taken too. So obviously I've got the rear camera on at the minute, and I'm going to adjust that so we can have a bit of both. That's what we've got at the minute, and that is most of the settings in there. Now I should also go into the main system settings. So when you get to home and you go into settings, this protection thing is basically the amount of time before it goes off. So if I set that to 30 seconds and wait 30 seconds, if we go to there, so it's going to stay on for 30 seconds. Now I've basically set it to off, which it was set to before, and we've also got an auto shutdown as well, which you set the duration and the camera completely powers off after a certain length of time. That is probably going to be turned off, but we'll just wait 30 seconds to see. I also showed you the key sound, which you can turn on and off, and the language display, you can change the language that it works in as well. And there you go, you can see it's completely gone off. So now all it is a normal mirror again. So if you want it on all the time, that's fine, but if you don't, then you can have it set that way as well. So I've set that to off, so the screen is basically always on. Auto shutdown, very similar. You can shut down the whole thing after a certain length of time. We've got it set to on, so it stays on. We've got that, we've mentioned the language, English, French or Spanish, the date and time, which I haven't set correctly, so don't worry about that. This is where you enter your license plate or your registration plate, your number plate, however you want to term it in your country. It's just a matter of putting that in. On the keypad here, the format obviously formats your SD card, and then you can click on the default, which is on the lower left, and that will obviously go back to the default settings. Now the stream media button, I found that quite interesting. You got it on or off. Now this sets which camera's view is going to be shown on the display screen when the dash camera is first powered on. If you set it to on, then the view from the rear camera is going to be displayed first. If you set it to off, then the front camera. So basically it means that it acts as a rear view camera by showing the rear camera when you immediately turn it on. And then you got version. Now the specs of this little thing here, I mean, it's a great screen, a 1920 by 1080p screen, very clear, very bright, really nice. You've got, it's not multi-touch, it's a single touch screen, but that's all you need really. It's very quick as well. It's got a Cortex A5 CPU inside of it and a 1-watt speaker as well. It's very easy. There's only about 20 pages of instructions, and to be honest, that's all you need. It's very easy to set up. The only thing I would say, obviously I've just set this up really quickly to show you, but you've got to make sure that all these cables are tucked away nice and neatly, go into the top of your any flaps and rubber seals around the edge of your door here to keep the cables all tucked around and down. And then you've obviously got to plug it in. I've plugged mine in down here, and it's got a very lengthy cable, but you can plug yours in wherever. This rear camera doesn't require power, but you can connect it to your reverse lights, and then obviously when your reverse lights come on, this helps you reverse without bumping into things. Really good front and rear footage. I'm going to record another video to go alongside this to actually show you some of the footage quality, because we're on lockdown at the minute. It's the middle of the coronavirus pandemic and we can't really go out and just drive around too much. So I'm going to show you that on a separate video. But all in all, this is the Vantop H610. There is also a Vantop mirror mounted dash camera, which is a H610, which I haven't read into too much, but it looks very similar. And it's a very easy, quick thing to use, and I can see why taxi drivers use this so much. It just clips on really easily. It's very flexible. You've got loads of, just clip it onto there very nicely. You can adjust it, obviously. It covers your current rear view mirror. You don't have to have the screen on all the time, so if you do just want a normal reflective mirror, it can do that too. So all in all, a very good, very easy install. And that's the Vantop H609 Vantop. I keep saying that. Sorry, the Vantop H609 Discovery mirror-mounted dashcam.